welcome to the Monday evening.
Ball like I do. After Dark, it's a must listen.
It's where I go to get my hoops fixed.
This is Field of 68 After Dark.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tuesday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. My name is Rob Dauster. I have with me none other than Tyler Hansbrough, the pickleball legend himself. And we're also joined by Marquette's all-time leading scorer. We got Jerel McNeal on here. And part of the reason we have Jerel McNeal on here is because Marquette just beat Purdue. The game is about to go final. There's 37 seconds left here as we talk. They were up by 18 points. Kam Jones is heading to the free throw line. Jerel, he has already landed himself a triple-double, 15 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. And Marquette is going to end up getting a 20-point win here against a top 10 team in Purdue. There was a lot of action across the world of college basketball tonight. We had 3 top 10 teams, blue bloods, in action in UConn, Kansas, and Kentucky, and we're going to get to all that. I got to ask these guys what they think about John Calipari and someone that looks like he might be on the verge of a meltdown in Fayetteville. We'll get to that here. And we also have to preview Illinois and Alabama. We all know how much Tyler loves those Illinois fans. But we got to open this thing up on Marquette's 20-point win over Purdue. Jerel, this feels like a statement. After Purdue beat Alabama on Friday night, the way, not just that they won, the way that Marquette was able to go out here and kind of control things and force turnovers and take this Purdue offense out of what they want to do, it felt like a statement to me.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. And really it was from the last couple of years, it was a get-back game. These guys lost to Purdue in the Maui Championship last year. Obviously, a little bit of a different team with Big Edie being gone now and off in the NBA. But I'm sure this was a game that they wanted to get, especially having the game at home at Fiserv. And man, like you said, they just grinded this one out. The game was a little bit of a slugfest early on. It was slow. A lot of guys weren't making shots from the outside, and they were letting Purdue hang around. But man, credit to this team. All of those guys stepped up, starting obviously with Kam Jones. He was fantastic, man. And like at this point, I don't know, man. This is the first. He just made history tonight. He's the first triple-double since D. Wade did it versus Kentucky. And I'm quite familiar with that one because I got close a couple times myself and came up like 1 rebound short. So kudos to him, man. But I think the most impressive thing about Kam tonight was just his patience. It's the biggest game of the year, clearly, the best opponent they've played, and he didn't press, man. He came out. He really took it upon himself to get other guys going. He got some early threes from Bengo, who played really well tonight. Chase Ross had it going, and Stevie was magnificent all night as well. But he trusted his teammates. He didn't press. He let the game come to him, and he knew the ball was going to be in his hands. So in the second half down the stretch, man, those guys made it really tough on Purdue tonight. I don't think I've seen the Purdue team probably turn the ball over this much. Chase Ross and Stevie Mitchell both with 4 steals. I think Chase had like 2 blocks. Stevie had a block. High deflection game. And in the words of Coach Shaka, it's a deflection culture, man. So hats off to those guys. What a hell of a win. Definitely a statement game. And I'm looking forward to what's next.
As you can see on the screen there, the final score, 76-58. Kam Jones finished with 17 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. Tyler, I made this argument earlier today. For my money, right now, if the season ended today, and I know it's only 15 days into the year, but I think Kam Jones is the leader in the clubhouse for National Player of the Year. And I would make the argument that when you can see what he can do as a point guard like this, he's the best player in college basketball to me right now.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable, and he's been better than I thought he'd be, and especially with losing Tyler Kolek. I mean, he has really dominated the game. And what I really like about Kam Jones is I wish a lot of kids would watch him because he impacts the game in so many different areas, not only just scoring, but controlling the ball, distributing it, rebounding, playing defense. His pace of play and the way he moves on the court is so effective and so good. He dominates the game without having to score, and he's been unbelievable. Marquette's been much better than I thought they would be, and tonight they really controlled the pace, and a big majority the biggest reason was because Kam controlled the game and really found his teammates, got them open, and they got up and down the court. And I thought Purdue struggled with their athleticism and defensive pressure.
Tyler, we know you love big men. We know you love teams that have those big physical fives. We know you love post play. Are you okay getting on board with a Marquette team that's going to play 5 out and get out in pressure, try to create mismatches out there? Is this allowed in the world of Tyler Hansbrough?
It's not allowed. There always needs to be a big man, and there needs to be a big physical rim protector or just a big guy that has some post moves. We can't take that out of the game. It's just not appealing.
Jerel, the thing that stood out to
Tyler,
me-
we're a guard school, baby. We've been looking for bigs for a long time. I know Shaka gonna get us some good ones, man. We just starting to get them flowing in a couple years too late, but we got a guard heavy.
Hey, you guys get them, and I'll jump on board. I'll be right there with you.
All right, Jerel, I do want to talk about Marquette's defense because the thing that I circled in this game, and we'll get to some of the limitations for Purdue and what this game means for Purdue in a second, but I thought the ability of Marquette to really get out and blitz those ball screens, right, to hedge them hard, to get out there and blow them up and not let Braden Smith come off of those screens and dribble into those pull-up threes that he loves to shoot. They sent 2 guys at him all the time. It felt like he had to, when he was trying to make a move, not only does he have the big guy right there hedging hard, but then you got to deal with off-night Stevie Mitchell. Then you got to deal with Chase Ross, who is as good of a perimeter defender as you're going to find. Kam Jones ain't too bad himself, right? And I just felt like the ability that they have to get out, like that's what this Marquette team is going to be. Last year, it was all about Kolek and Iguodaro and space the floor and make some threes and be good enough defensively. I feel like this year's team is going to be not quite Havoc Shaka, but it's going to have a little bit of that throwback. We're going to force turnovers, so you're not going to be able to run anything against this field.
No, absolutely, Rob. And I think you hit it right on the head. And the crazy thing about it is, I was up there not too long ago and got a chance to talk with Shaka a little bit. And he has such a great pulse for this team. And he kind of was even speaking to that a little bit just about the way that they're going to have to play this year. And I know, having 2 great, players, 2 guys that are pros now leaving last year, everybody was so worried about, filling in those holes, but it's like, it's always more than one way to skin a cat, man. So it's like this year is going to be like, for me, they're one of the top perimeter man for man defensive teams like in the country. They got the ability to do that with a guy like Stevie and Chase out there in your starting lineup. You like, you know what I mean? So like tonight I was impressed just by the patience, even with Shaka as well too, because that was all I was thinking. I'm just like, man, they want to get Purdue. We can't make it into a slugfest. I still worry about them at times rebounding the ball, especially on the other teams hopping on the offensive glass. But I thought they were going to pressure the hell out of Braden Smith and just try to make his night hell. And they were a little bit more poised and controlled with that. They kind of let the game settle in. But if you pick, I made a note just right around the 12-minute mark in the second half, you start getting some of the zone 3/4 court pressure, some traps in the backcourt. Really getting into the ball. Stevie started picking them up consistently full court, just making it tough on them. And then when Smith got off of the ball and let it go, they did a really good job of making it tough for him to get it back. Stevie got a couple steals like that, jumping in the passing lane, knowing that at the end of the shot clock, the ball is coming back to him because he's really their only true playmaker on the floor. So this team is built to win. They're just going to have to do it in different ways. And I think the only shortcoming still is just going to be our ability to rebound the basketball and just continuing to get guys to step up offensively. Like early on, we had a couple games where we had some droughts offensively, but tonight Chase and Stevie got it going, so it was like it wasn't even an issue. And then Kam, like I said, was just poised, knowing he's going to be the top guy on everybody's scouting report now, and trusting those guys. Like the more he trusts those guys and give those guys confidence, miss a make throwing in those passes, those throwbacks on those pick and rolls and DHOs, the more comfortable they're gonna get stepping into them and knocking them down and just being aggressive because other guys are gonna have to keep the defense honest.
Yeah, I was Stevie Mitchell, man. He had 17 against Central Michigan. He had 18 in the win at Maryland. He had 21 tonight. The dude has – you always look for those guys who are going to take a step forward. That is a really good sign for Marquette, and we'll see if it continues. I'm going to go ahead and bet that maybe he's not scoring 21 tonight, but I think that Stevie Mitchell has kind of turned that corner offensively. Let's pivot to the Boilermakers, Tyler. My biggest concern with them is – that they lost Lance Jones last year, fifth-year senior, really good player, had a lot of experience at the college level, a guy that could break you down off the dribble, a guy that could be a defender, a little bit more athleticism on the perimeter, and they replaced him with a couple of freshmen. And CJ Cox, Jakari Harris, I think they're going to be good in the long run, right? They're also freshmen playing their first road game in an arena with 17,000 crazy Wisconsinites. Is that what they are? Crazy Wisconsinites. You know the beer was flowing there. It was a 9 p.m. tip Eastern time, 8 p.m. local. That's not an easy situation to put them in, but I still think it exposed a little bit of the lack of athleticism that we see in this Purdue backcourt, and you don't got the 7'4" monster in the middle to kind of alleviate that pressure.
Yeah, and I think that was the difference tonight. And one thing I will say about Purdue is I think they're well coached. I think Matt Painter does a good job, and you can see, the improvement from Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer over the years. But they're still going to struggle with athletic teams that are going to pressure you and also run you. The pace of play really, I really felt like Purdue struggled with that, and also the Trey Kaufman Wren. It looks like they made every shot that he took very difficult. Purdue didn't get a lot of high-quality looks or high-percentage shots. You look at points in the paint, 22-38, and then the fast break points, 4-9. Marquette just ran them to death. And you can tell also that Purdue was tired from their free throw percentage. That's a sign of guys huffing and puffing and trying to keep up with the pace of play. But I really do feel like they struggled with the big, athletic, physical, defensive style of Marquette. Not like big as in tall, but I'm talking about their presence defensively, really get up in your face and pressure you and make you turn the ball over and then run as soon as they get the ball. I think Purdue kind of struggled with that. But I do think that even though Marquette dominated this whole game, Purdue kind of kept it close. They kind of hung around the rim, kept the lead close until kind of the end, and then Marquette kind of blew the doors off. But, and that's a sign of, giving yourself a chance late in games. Sometimes, you sneak out a win you probably shouldn't have won. But, the game might have been close. But in my eyes, when I was watching this, I was like, this is a matter of time for Marquette's just going to blow them out.
Yeah, this is where I'll give credit to Purdue. And I still think that they are top 10-ish, top 15-ish kind of a team, right? This – going on the road and getting your butt kicked in November, one, credit Matt Painter for having the stones to play this game. There's a lot of coaches that don't have the stones to be able to go play this game. And two, I think that their issue – look, to me, Jerel, they put so much on Braden Smith and having him to go kind of generate shots from offensively. Looked like he kind of got tired at the end, and I think that will change as Harris and CJ Cox get a little bit more used to playing at this level and aren't freshmen playing on the road. So I'm not that worried about Purdue. I think that they we saw the issue that they had. We know what the issue was heading into this game, and I think it's something that Matt Painter is going to find a way to be able to fix. To me, this doesn't change my opinion of what this Purdue team can be at all. Is that fair?
I'll say it's fair, and I definitely agree with you. Like, I'm not worried about them. It's a tough early season game, especially with them coming off a big win already over a team that was, super highly talented and athletic and all those type of things in Alabama. They handled them pretty well, but they're playing another another tough game on the road right here against a good Marquette team, which is a different kind of challenge for them. But I'm definitely not worried at all. I got full confidence in Matt Painter, man, and really you just got to tip your hat to those guys, because even though this game ended up a 20-point or 18-point victory or whatever it was, it was a situation where it was a nip and tuck game all the way through to about the 8-minute mark, 7-minute mark in the second half. And you got to give those guys credit. They're not going to bend. They're not going to waver. They're not going to quit. They're not going to fold. They got excellent leadership. Smith is still one of the best guards in the country. They just don't have, that anomaly in the middle in Zach Edey anymore. So it's definitely going to be a lot more difficult for Smith to be the only playmaker, and they're gonna need those young guys to kind of, get baptized in, a trial by fire early on, so that they can get comfortable and they can get to a point where they being aggressive and helping him make plays. I think that's a big piece of what they're gonna miss too, a little bit, even with with Lance Jones being gone from last year. Like, he just gave him another guy on the perimeter that could put the ball down and go get a piece of the paint, man. You need that type of pressure sometimes, especially without having big Edey anymore.
All right, last thing I want you each just to kind of weigh in for about 30 seconds on this. There wasn't a single transfer that came in this season on either of these teams. Purdue went all in on developing their guys, and it might have been not to their benefit necessarily because of what we talked about with the freshmen. Same thing with Marquette, right? They didn't bring in anybody new. They bet on their internal player development. And Tyler, I love that, man. I love seeing this. I love the fact that all those Marquette fans know who these dudes are. They saw Kam Jones come in as a freshman. They watched him turn into this absolute stud as a senior, and they get to experience the joy of feeling like they know who these players are as people. You live through that. How cool is it to see?
It's great. And also the thing I love about it is there's a fan base that gets to watch a kid develop and really become a good player instead of hitting the portal or leaving for the NBA. This is, and really it's a credit to Matt Painter and Shaka Smart for keeping their core group of guys together and actually developing players and building a culture that a lot of college basketball fans love. And I agree with you. It's great to see. Kam Jones is one of those players that's really developing. Braden Smith is another player, and Fletcher Lawyer, who you're watching players kind of develop, and it's good to see back in college.
Jerel?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a major credit, and it's cool just in this climate to see those guys, those coaches staying true to still, kind of their beliefs and their morals, and that's that, while everybody else is out digging in the portal consistently, it's not the only way to win. And I mean, I think it's at this point, I would say that that's true. Now, are they never going to go into the portal? No, I don't think that's realistic either. But if you don't need to, and you truly take pride, because I hear so much coach speak, we develop guys. Well, develop them then. Prove it. Don't go out and go try to bring in a new guy that's going to replace him and take all of his minutes the next year when he's supposed to have a breakout year the following year. If you really believe in your development plan, put it to work and believe in your guys, and and take care of home first. So
we have so much more from the world of college basketball tonight to get to. We're going to dive into that coming up next when we get back from this break. If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today. Welcome back to the Field of 68 After Dark. Rob Dauster, Jerel McNeal, who has been sitting there celebrating. I don't know what he's sipping on over there, but I'm sure it's something strong. And Tyler Hansbrough. Guys, we got to talk about Kentucky in a little bit. We're going to get to Kansas, and I'm starting to have some concerns about them. But before we do any of that, We're sticking in the Big East, man. We just talked about Marquette. Let's talk about the team that was picked to win the Big East, the UConn Huskies. They won by 35 tonight. They beat East Texas A&M, but it was not all the most happy win. I think we've seen Dan Hurley happier than he was after tonight's game. Listen to this snippet from his press conference tonight. All right, never mind. We don't have the audio of Dan Hurley's press conference. But he said it was a comically bad performance. All right, we got it now. Dagan Hughes coming to the rescue. Making me not look like an idiot. Dan Hurley.
Just comically bad. Second half rebounding so far below standard. Ball security throughout the game. It's been a long time since we've been that bad. To go negative assist to turnover ratio. We're one of we're one of the best passing and ball security teams in the country. So, I think at times we played hard, but once we got it to 37, with 12 minutes to go, and it turned into just a debacle out there.
We'll talk about that in a second, but we were now joined by the man of the hour, Mr. Triple Double himself. We call him our fashion correspondent. I think we're going to have to start calling him our Triple Double correspondent, Kam Jones. Round of applause, man. Triple Double. Kam, I think it's safe to say we can start calling you a point guard here, right?
Yeah, I would say that. That's what I've always called myself, but you got Tyler Cole, ain't no need. What up, Jerel? You good?
Brother, you cooking, man. I'm proud of you, boy. Congrats, man. You made history tonight. Just a quick one for you, though. And I think it's cool because obviously me and Rob got a chance. We got a chance to catch up with you last year in the Big East tournament, where for me personally, just as a player, I felt like that was the moment when I got a chance to see you when TK was out with that injury, kind of just take the bull by the horns, man. Just talk a little bit about how you use that synergy going into even this year. And I know it's been a long time since then, but just having that belief in yourself that you're able to take on and shoulder the load by yourself and lead with the guys that you've been doing it with.
For sure. I think the last part you said of it is huge, man. My teammates have been great with helping me get better all off season, getting in the gym with me, shooting with me in the mornings, lifting every day, just getting better. Coming to spending time in our apartments, in our rooms, spending time with each other. And that's what we pride ourselves on here. Obviously we don't go in the portal or nothing. So we with each other all summer. And every day of the summer we're training, we're getting each other better. We're learning how to play with one another more. And man, I appreciate my team, but letting me be one of the the main leaders of this team and being one of the main voices.
Kam, hey, great game tonight. Unbelievable. Big win for you guys. I just want to ask you a quick question about the culture at Marquette playing for Shaka Smart and how big of an impact that had on you coming back to Marquette. Obviously, it's kind of an old school feel, not taking a lot of guys out of the portal.
I think that's a huge testament to what Coach thinks of us, man. At the end of the day, Coach Smart wants to win. So you know what I'm saying? He's not going to not do something that he doesn't think will help him win. And man, the way he is the way our team is. They say the team is a reflection of your head coach, and I feel like that's exactly what we are, man. Energetic, care for one another deeply as people before even basketball players. Always there for one another, and man, it's a lot of fun every day. You're around guys that I look to my left, I look to my right. I love these guys, and I'll lay it out on the line for them every night.
You talked about your teammates, Kam. Stevie Mitchell had 17 against Central Michigan, had 18 at Maryland, which looks like a really, really good win. I had 21 tonight. We call them off night. We know what we could do on one side of the ball. Where'd this come from? Are you surprised to see this level of scoring out of him?
Man, not in the slightest, man. Just to start from high school, AAU, he led the UAA in scoring. He was the MVP of the UAA. Man, he's been doing this, man. And I have a lot of respect for Stevie, especially, man, him having done all of that before, he got to Marquette, then coming to Marquette and kind of just embracing that glue guy role, that dog role, just really embracing that and being for the team and just wanting to win. And, obviously people go, more opportunities increase. And he's been ready, man. He's put the work in and he sacrifices a lot for us.
All right, last thing. Rate Jerel's fit right now.
It looked like he was late. I ain't gonna lie, it looked like he just got done. You feel me? He was late. He was up with us. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give him a 10 just because I know he was all night.
Oh,
My
come
man,
on.
hey, you know we
Marquette
was lit.
Hey, bro, we got that one video. We have a deflection culture. We have a deflection culture.
Yes, sir, baby. Deflection culture. My boy went and got 13 of them things tonight, too. So, hey, man, we cooking, boy. Enjoy this one. Congrats. Back to work tomorrow. Enjoy it tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Congrats, Cam. Thank you, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Go celebrate, man. That's Kam
Yes, sir.
Jones, Mr. Triple Double. Let's just say he was the best player we had on the show tonight from Marquette. All right, pivoting back to UConn, pivoting back to Dan Hurley. I don't think we've seen, Jerel, anything from UConn yet this season that you can kind of like form an opinion on in a positive way. Because if they're beating these teams by 40, East Texas A&M, which like 2 weeks ago was called Texas A&M Commerce, they changed that's what the school was. They changed the name of the school from the time that the schedule came out to the time that the game was played. You play New Hampshire, you play Sacred Heart, you play Lemoyne, a bunch of local low major programs. You're supposed to beat them by 40, right? They might be able to beat them by 40 with me and you coaching them, right? When you watch this team right now, like how are they ready to head to Maui and face this competition that they're going to get out there? And if Dan Hurley is this frustrated about a 35-point win, what does that mean practice is going to be like tomorrow?
I'm anticipating this is all a part of his master plan. And man, Tyler know this because he's had great coaches in his life as well too, man. Sometimes these happen, but sometimes they're scripted. I'm positive he's smart enough to know they haven't played anybody. I'm sure that they aren't where he wants them to be or where they need to be probably for them walking into Maui at this moment. But he's setting the tone right now in that post-game press conference kind of for what's to come, and I'm sure they'll have a good couple practices, maybe even tough practices, whatever it may be, because they're gonna have to ramp it up because the competition level is gonna ramp up. But at the end of the day,
a tough practice. But even when he's happy, Dan Hurley's practices are not easy.
Hey, I still try to lean toward the players. So hopefully they got some legs going into Maui. That's all I'm gonna say. If not, y'all gonna have to hit that recovery pool, man. But at the end of the day, they gotta get ready to play against top level competition. That's part of doing these type of tournaments and the feast week things is that this is your barometer to see what you have as a team. And I know if nothing else, Hurley is gonna have them ready. I still think that they had more turnover than they have had in the last few years because they kind of been solidified and been running. I mean, guys are leaving for the NBA, but that's it. The rest of the guys are coming back and their roles are expanding. But they had a couple guys out of the portal this year, a couple freshmen in as well too that are playing big minutes. But if nothing else, I know they got depth and they got talent. The only thing that they're kind of missing is just that big monster in the middle that they kind of grown accustomed to, with Klingan being gone now. So, but I think they'll be good. What exactly they need to address and any concerns, I don't think we're really going to figure that out into Maui, but I'm not worried about UConn in the slightest because I know Dan Hurley, in my opinion, is, easily, if not the best, the top 3 coach in the country. So,
Tyler, is there anything that you can actually learn from these bye games?
I don't know. It's hard to evaluate a 30 plus blowout. Against. I wonder how East Texas A&M feels after Hurley said that. But I'll say this. Maui's a special place. You got some beaches there, and it's there's a lot of things that can distract you from playing basketball, especially when you got teams in Maui. High quality teams, and you're going to face some competition. They haven't had the toughest opponent lately. But I think if you find, you nitpick and you find things that your team isn't doing that you want to improve on. I think he's trying to really get after his guys so they can really focus on basketball and not get too caught up into the Maui, the beaches, and the Thanksgiving and all this stuff, because it's easy to let one slip and catch an L, when you let that happen. But to me, this is Hurley wanting his team to focus and allow him to, have some grind out practices and just have guys get after it.
Yeah, Solo Ball had 12 tonight. Aiden Mahaney had 10. He had a couple threes. That's big to get him going. Alex Carabin had a little bit of a quiet. It feels like everyone had a little bit of a quiet night for UConn. It was not the kind of dominating performance you would expect in a 35-point win. Let's pivot. I do want to get to Kentucky here. Tyler, we talked about it before we went live. You and the state of Kentucky maybe didn't have the best relationship last season. But I think you're like me. Like we're kind of rooting for it. It's hard not to like Coach Pope. It's hard not to like this Kentucky team, the way they play, putting up 100 points, beating Duke. That had to have been one of those games where it's like, maybe a meteor could hit it before, at the under 4 timeout, and that'd probably be the best result for Tyler Hansbrough. But what do you make of this Kentucky team? 97-68 win over Lipscomb tonight. 4-0. They're number 9 in the country. They got a coach everybody loves.
Well, first of all, what I like about Kentucky is they have a lot of veteran players. I think they have 6, grad transfers. I like that they're a veteran team. And when you look at the game against Duke in particular, Duke pretty much controlled that game until late. And I really felt like they found the ability to stay in the game. And when they needed to make plays and they needed to play disciplined basketball late in the game, they got that done and put themselves in position to win. And I really like that. I'm a big fan of Mark Pope ever since he came on the show last year. Thought he was a heck of a dude. And I like his energy, and I do think if there's anybody that can, really, get Big Blue Nation and really connect with them, it's him. Because it's not going to be me, nor will I ever. It's Kentucky. I like veteran teams. I've always said that, and I like Pope's style of letting his guys have a lot of freedom, passing around. They have some shooters. I like it. I like the Kerr kid. He can get hot. The Jackson Robinson, he can get it going, played for Pope. So, I like Kentucky, as a good team this year. I don't like them as a team. I like them as, being a deep tournament team.
You like the players, you like the coach. Yeah, you like the players, you like the coach. You don't like the jersey, and you're not a big fan of the guys that are going to be on social media yelling.
I hate the school. Hate the school.
Jerel, I had this conversation with someone today. I kind of feel like this Kentucky team I feel like their ceiling is a little bit limited. Like they're one of these teams that has a really high floor because they're going to guard. You got guys that know how to play, and that you're going to be able to be coached well. And because they're so old, it feels like they're more advanced maybe than some of the other teams that are a little bit newer. And I know they have all of these new faces, but it just feels like they've reached a point where they're ready to compete at this level faster than some other teams have. But I don't know if they have a superstar. Like Andrew Carr was awesome down the stretch. Are we going to believe against Duke? Are we going to believe that we're going to get that out of Andrew Carr every night? But at the same time, I watch them and they look really impressive. And I love the way that the roster is built, and I love what Pope can do as a coach. So I'm kind of like, I have this internal battle with myself saying if you look at them on paper, it doesn't look like a team that's going to be like a Final Four championship contender. But then you watch them play and you listen to their staff and you see how excited the fans are. And it's like, yeah, you know what? You can kind of get swept up into the excitement and the hype a little bit.
Yeah. And I think that is perfect kind of for what, Big Blue Nation was yearning for with the last couple of years with the Cal situation. They essentially almost got like the polar opposite. So there's no more young guys running around still trying to figure out the game, and or freshmen and guys that aren't going to be around for very long. And then whatever happens for that year just happens. Like, don't get me wrong, extremely talented teams with even some with superstars on them. But, they're doing it in a different way, and they're going, like Tyler spoke to, they're going with experience. You know what I mean? So they got older guys, and they're essentially doing it by committee. I don't think they have a go-to guy or a superstar on their roster. And even in that game versus Duke, Carr got it going down the stretch, but the guy who I think is the guy that can get hot and really fill it up. A guy like Jackson Robinson, was terrible that night. He couldn't hit the backside of a barn. So, and I think that Mark Pope being a really good coach feeds into that, because right now he's riding a hot hand. He's going to draw upsets. He's going to get guys that are making shots, opportunities, and in good situations where they can make plays for each other, and they just kind of play off each other and feed off each other right now. So talent-wise, are they a sure shot Final Four team? No. But are they a team that you do not want to run into if they, once we get to that time of year? Absolutely, because they got all the makings of a team that can be a dark horse and make a deep run once it's that time of the year.
Yeah, and you know what else they got, Tyler? They got guys that just do winning things. Like Lamont Butler just does winning things. There's a reason why that dude played in a national title game in 2023, right? And by the way, hit the game-winning shot to get them to the national championship game. I think Otega Oweh does winning things. I think Andrew Carr does winning things. Yeah, they're tough. The guy that left Kentucky, John Calipari, went to Arkansas, and I think he might have thought Arkansas was going to be something different than what it was, because what we keep seeing is, these press conferences that feel a little bit like a sideshow. We see him after a game telling fans they have to show up to games and use their tickets, right? I don't think he was doing any of that stuff when he was out. It feels a little bit like what he had to do at UMass to get that UMass program going, or Memphis to get to Memphis going when he first got there. They struggled in their 3 bye games. They lost to Baylor. I don't know what I was necessarily expecting, but it feels like they're kind of stuck in second gear a little bit. Like, I've never seen a coach out there at that level. Did you ever expect to see John Calipari sitting there asking fans to actually show up to the games? That's crazy, Tyler. That's crazy.
It's pretty funny to me. And listen, if you're going to schedule, some weaker opponents early on in the year, and you're going to go to Arkansas and expect your fans to show up to every game, I mean, Lipscomb, Troy, Pacific, that's not going to be, you're going to have a lot of high quality and, teams in the SEC. They're going to come to, Arkansas, they're going to fill the arena, but schedule a big time game early in the season at home. If you want your fans to come out, give them something that they're going to be really excited about. And I think that solves the ticket situation or the empty seats, but also so does winning. So it's not like Arkansas hasn't been good recently, but you get a team there that the fans can kind of grow with, and you win every game. That's going to put people in those seats.
Jerel?
Yeah, and I think Tyler kind of hit it on the head. Let's first things first. Let's settle down a little bit and just let football season in. You're not at Kentucky anymore. Let's be real about it. If there's one thing I know, I'm not an expert. I didn't grow up in Kentucky or anything, but man, Kentucky Blue, it's about hoop culture, man. Let's just be real about it. Like, it's a bonus if their football team looks like anything. Arkansas it's the other way. Football is king. They in the middle of the SEC, going through their conference, playing somewhat significant games. Not to say that they got a great shot to make it to the playoff or anything, but still, let's let football season in. And the fact that, he just got there, he didn't have a team when he got there. He essentially created an entirely new roster with all new guys that just got there. They have no connection to the people that have been there or the program just yet. Those type of things take time. And obviously it's always, like I said, between football season ending and also the competition level of your opponents going up, they'll be fine. I seen that place rocking with Muss. So, Cal's gonna be good, man. They're gonna get it rolling, and those fans are gonna get behind it. Just takes a little bit of time, let them get familiar, let the guys show their faces a little bit more around campus, and they get a feel for who does what and personalities and that type of thing. And then you'll be in there rolling. Long as you're winning, you'll be good.
All right, guys, I want you guys have 5 seconds each to answer this question. Can Arkansas still win an SEC championship, either regular season or tournament? Jerel.
No.
Tyler?
Absolutely. They have players that are still developing. They were young. He took a lot of Kentucky talent with them. Wagner's going to be good. They have players.
I tend to lean no, mostly because I think at the top of the SEC is just too good, and there's going to be too many learning curves there. But I think the ceiling's still high on Arkansas. I'm not completely out on them. I just, I think they're trending in the wrong direction. Listen, we got to talk about two of the best teams in college basketball. I'm going to put it to both of these guys. Who should be number one right now? As a UConn fan, I don't think I'm ready to say it's UConn just yet. So to me, it's either Kansas or Gonzaga. We are going to answer that question coming up next. Now that college basketball season is back in full swing, I need to remind you guys about our partners over at Autograph, where the real college hoops fans reside. The Autograph app curates all of the best content for every sports fan and every sports fan's favorite team. Podcasts, blogs, analysis. It's all there without the nonsense from the talking heads that don't actually watch the games. And there's a bonus. Consuming content on the Autograph app earns you coins that can be redeemed for rewards for things like no-fee tickets or signed jerseys from your favorite players. There are a couple new features in the app that I need to let you guys know about as well. Autograph Replay gives you a quick-hitting summary of the previous day's news so you can keep track of all the important things going on with your favorite teams. And Autograph Rooms allows you to chat in real time with the true voices of fandom within your team's community. So go to the link in the description or scan that QR code on your screen and download the Autograph app. Welcome back to the Tuesday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. Rob Dauster, I got Jerel McNeal with me. I got Tyler Hansbrough with me, and we're going to talk about who the best team is in all of college basketball. For my money, Jerel, I think it's either Gonzaga or Kansas. Where do you fall?
I'm somewhere in between. I think Gonzaga's playing the best basketball in the country right now, and they also have one of the best rosters. And obviously, we know few can get it done as the head coach. I still think Kansas, and this is just how I feel. I think they got the best and the most talented roster in college basketball, and I strongly feel that way. Just their depth and how many guys they can get hot and kind of destroy a game for you on a night-to-night basis is it's kind of crazy. But they haven't looked great. I think they still gonna have some time to try to work out the kinks and figure out lineups and who's gonna do what and where. Obviously you got Dickinson, who's a built-in 20-10 at this point of his career. But I think they got a better roster. But Gonzaga right now is not a team in the country that's probably playing as well as Gonzaga right now.
Yeah, we can probably toss Auburn into that conversation as well at some point. But for me, I think it's Gonzaga. They went on the road last night and won 80-67 at San Diego State. Ryan Nembhard has 40 assists and just 5 turnovers on the season, despite playing against Baylor and Arizona State and at San Diego State in 3 of the 4 games that they have won this year. I think Graham Ike is just such a terrific low post guy. Tyler, I know that you love yourself some Graham Ike. I know you love Braden Huff. A lot of these guys are back, right? And I think that it's part of why they are a little bit ahead of the field, at this point in the season, because they have all of these guys that have been there. There's the continuity. Those players understand what Mark Few wants to do, and they really get what Gonzaga basketball, like they know you run a high ball screen and then you look for that ducking for Graham Ike or Braden Huff in the post. And if you don't get that, kick it out to a shooter and knock one down. Like that's what Gonzaga does. These guys know where each other are going to be because of that continuity.
Yeah, they're a veteran team. And one thing I like about this new era of basketball is veteran teams win. And when you have a coach like Mark Few and you allow him to develop guys and build culture with the same group of guys, they know how to play with each other. They have great chemistry. They know where the guys are going to be. You look at Gonzaga over the years, Tim A and all these guys, you see these players develop and get better and put themselves – they just play smart basketball. Mark Few's really good at, Nembhard. I mean, he's playing disciplined basketball, not turning it over. They're making the right plays. They're playing unbelievable right now, but I would still lean towards Kansas. I think DeJuan Harris, one of the best defenders in college, and they have a big man in the middle, Hunter Dickinson, also one of the best players in college. And I just think you can rely on them, and you can also develop, some of these, younger guys that have, haven't had the experience, and kind of throw them, and they're going to be a better team, here later in the year.
All right, I want both of you guys to answer this, and Jerel, will go to you first, because here's my single biggest concern with Kansas, and it's not that I don't think Kansas is like a top 1, top 2, top whatever team in the country. They're elite. They can win a national championship. They're the best team in the Big 12 right now in my eyes. They got one of the best players. Like, I love everything about them. Here's my concern and why I think I'm a little bit lower on them than a lot of other people are right now. You got a point guard in DeJuan Harris who is not a threat to shoot. Like, you don't have to guard him outside the three-point line. You got a 4-man in KJ Adams who is not really a threat to shoot. You don't have to guard him out past like the free throw line, right? Hunter Dickinson is maybe the best shooter, one of the better shooters on this team, the same as last year. But if you have him on the perimeter, you're kind of taking away what he does best, which is kind of you're creating those post touch and those seals for him to kind of turn, catch, and lay it in, which Bill Self is so good at. I'm not sure yet if AJ Store's the shooter that they need. I think Zeke Mayo has come in and adjusted really well. I'm still a little bit concerned about Rylan Griffin's acclimation to the Big 12 and what they're doing. I don't know. I know they brought in all this perimeter talent, and those guys are really good players, but I still think you need 2 guys on the floor that aren't Hunter Dickinson, that aren't threats beyond the three-point line. And I just don't know, Jerel, if there's enough space there to create for Hunter. Tell me if that is a legitimate concern or not. And then, Tyler, I want to hear your thoughts after Jerel.
I definitely think it's a legitimate concern. I feel like it's almost like a broken record from last season. We talked about it a little bit as well. Them just being able to keep teams honest, stretching the floor with more shooters on the floor. But I think the key to all that too, and I'll see kind of like where Tyler falls on this too, is that when you got guys like that who may not be knocked down shooters and spacing may be a problem, then it's no doubt in my mind, like where they got to win the game at is on the glass. Like Adams and Dickinson have to go get you extra possessions. We know what DeJuan Harris is and what he's going to do, but he's part of, a major part of the team, and you need him to be, the playmaking point guard. He's not going to come out and not give you 20 on most nights. He's just going to facilitate and make the right plays. But you need those big guys inside to go get extra possessions. And at the end of the day, for what they pay for Store, man, he may not be a great knockdown outside shooter, but he's a great scorer, and they need him to put the ball in the bucket and give them a little bit of pop offensively. At the end of the day, that's what they paid for. So.
Yeah, tonight in an 18-point win over UNC Wilmington at home, AJ Store had 7 points on 2 for 7 shooting coming off the bench. As a team, Kansas was 6 for 25 from 3. Tyler, go ahead.
Yeah, and listen, Kansas has not played a really like a good full game of basketball. Like they've had good halves, and then they've had a horrendous half. And I saw that, against us, UNC, and also Wilmington tonight. It's like, I was tuning in to maybe see an upset, and I didn't think that UNC Wilmington, I think they smacked Kentucky and Rupp last year, upset them, and then I was wondering if they're going to, hand Kansas one in Fog tonight. But I actually really like Kansas, and I know that they don't have great outside shooting, but I think Store, I think he's going to shoot better, and I think Zeke Mayo, as the year goes on, he lit us up, and I think he's going to find ways to score. Now, there's other ways of scoring than just hemorrhaging threes in the new era of basketball, and I think Kansas does that really well. Hunter Dickinson, he is a great passer. You can put him in the mid-high post. He's a scoring threat from there, and he can find teammates. Great passer, and also like Badunga. Sorry, still probably pronounce it wrong, but I think
just call him Flory, Tyler. Just call him Flory.
Yeah,
Flory.
I like his athleticism, and I like that he's a rim protector, a lob threat. It's a good contrast to what Hunter is. And also, I do think the defense from Harris makes up for his lack of shooting, and they have the athleticism to dominate the game defensively and win ugly ball games, which is super important in the tournament in their more veteran team.
Yeah, I think where I kind of net out on everything is just they're going to be tough enough defensively that they are going to you're not going to be able to score. Like, you're just not going to go on like the 8-0, 10-0 runs on them. It's just not going to happen. And they will get enough from Bill Self scheming and Hunter Dickinson and some of the talent that they have that they're going to win a ton of basketball games. There's just going to be a lot of like, okay, they're up by 12 with 4 minutes left in a game that shouldn't be that close, or, they end up winning a game by 7 when they're favored by 15 just because they wear you down and they win. But I don't know if they're going to be blowing teams out. I don't know if it's going to necessarily pass the eye test. And I don't know if the eye test necessarily matters. Speaking of the eye test, Illinois has looked really good this season. Alabama has not looked all that good this season, and they play each other tomorrow night. We're going to break that down and preview it and maybe give you a pick or two to help you make some money at BetMGM. That's coming up next. Now that the college basketball season is in full swing, you need to make sure that you have access to the best betting tool on the market, the Rhythm app. Spelled RITHMM, is a data-backed app that uses AI and analytics to identify inefficiencies in betting lines and the player prop market that will allow you, the user, to profit. You can create customized, analytics-driven betting models tailored to your personal preferences as a bettor. Users have access to up-to-the-second against-the-spread data. And if you're like me and you understand pictures better than numbers on a screen, Rhythm's internal trend analysis provides you with the kind of graphs that will allow you to evaluate past results and project future performance in a visual way. Every Division I college basketball team is included in the Rhythm's metrics. Free subscribers to the Field of 68 Daily will get 25% off for a Rhythm subscription. Use the QR code on the screen to sign up or download at the link in the description. Welcome back to the Tuesday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. My name is Rob Dauster. I have Jerel McNeal. I have Tyler Hansbrough. We got just a couple of minutes left here before we're going to wrap up After Dark for the night. If you go back and listen to the rest of the show, we talked Purdue, we talked Marquette, we had Kam Jones on. We argued about whether or not UConn's going to be good. We talked a little Kansas, Kentucky. We talked a little Arkansas. We talked a little Gonzaga and Kansas and the best team in the country. It's been a full show, fellas. It has been a full show here on a relatively slow night in the world of college hoops. It's not the busiest night in the world tomorrow, but we do have one terrific matchup on the SEC network that should be as entertaining as any basketball game that we are going to see this side of Charleston against FAU, which was on the Field of 68. Illinois is heading down to Alabama to take on the Crimson Tide in Legacy Arena in Birmingham. Jerel, I'm going to go to you first on this one because I know you know that Illinois program well. They're 3-0 in the season. They have not beaten anybody this season. They blew out the first two opponents. They beat Oakland. It was not the most resounding victory, but a win is a win is a win, right? What do you make of Illinois right now? And can they go down to the Deep South and come home with a win against Nate Oates' team?
I think Illinois is another team where they're kind of going to figure out what they have here in this game in Birmingham tomorrow. But it's a completely again another team where it's like they made a Elite Eight or whatever it was last year, and it's a team that's completely been turned over now. And to be honest with you, I think it's a team that really doesn't necessarily fit in the image of Underwood and kind of like what he likes to do. They got a lot of young guys, but don't get me wrong. Just as far as young guys and talent, they got as much talent as anybody. And right now, what they're saying is 3 guys that may end up being drafted in next year's draft. So, but the thing that scares me a little bit is just, a lot of these guys are young and, to be honest with you, it's a lot of finesse guys. So I'm not sure how they're going to hold up defensively throughout the course of the year. I think this would be a big test tomorrow, major barometer, to kind of let them know where they stand.
Tyler? What do you make of this game? Are you worried about Alabama? You know, they didn't look great in 3 games, and they go on the road to Purdue and get beat up a little bit at Purdue. Again, road game, newish kind of a team. Mackey Arena is an impossible place to play. Are you worried about the Tide at all right now?
Not at all. I actually really like Alabama. I like what Nate Oates is doing. Mark Sears, unbelievable veteran player. Grant Nelson, these guys have experience. Illinois is young. Even though they do have depth, I think they'll be able to, play the pace of play that Alabama wants to play because they have depth. They'll be able to rely on their bench. Their guys will find the rest they need. But Cliff Amorie, for me, is a guy that I still think is going to be have a great year, and I still think that he's kind of getting used to the system, the newness of Nate Oates, and I think he's going to be a huge impact player that's going to leave a big mark and really help Alabama before it's all said and done this year. But I like Alabama. I like their experience. I like their guards, and I like Cliff Amorie.
Alabama's laying 8.5 points. Jerel, the total there is 168.5 on BetMGM. That is a lot of points, and I kind of think I'm going to lay the points. I kind of think I want to take Alabama. I know I'm going against KenPom. I'm going against a lot of the metrics, but I think I'm going to take Alabama there, laying 8.5.
You gonna take Alabama? Woo! Look. That's scary. That's a lot of points. And to be honest with you, that Purdue game scared me a little bit, and I just kind of got the feeling like the how Alabama style of play is. They can kind of let anybody hang around, and Illinois isn't anybody. So I think maybe we get a game that's probably going to be a little bit closer than the 8.5. We'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting to see. Just how the matchups and everything play out through the course of the game. But yeah, we got to get Underwood. Got to get my boy Merez in there, man. You got to get my boy Merez in there. He might be needed tomorrow, baby. We need that physicality.
Tyler, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Alabama takes us. I'd take the 8. I think, I think Illinois is young and experienced, and I think Alabama still isn't the team that everyone expects them to be. I think they have a lot of talent. They have athleticism. I think they're still developing. So we're going to see once they catch their stride, they're going to be a tough team.
Yeah, they've missed a lot of open shots, and I think they're going to get open shots against this young Illinois team. So I would probably take Alabama minus 8.5. All right, gentlemen, it's that time. Toasts of the night. Jerel, we're going to go to you first. Who are you toasting on this Tuesday in college hoops?
I was really at halftime expecting to be able to try kind of spread the love, but I think it's probably should be a consensus toast of the night. We were fortunate enough to have him join us, but Kam Jones, man, triple-double, first one since 2003 from Marquette University. A lot of people flirted with it, but he got it done. Not to mention a big win at home against a Purdue team that stole some hardware from us last year. So it was an easy call for me, man. He's playing at a high level, looking like the best guard in the country right now. So it's an easy one for me. Kam Jones got it, man. Trip dub.
There you go, Tyler. Who you toasting? You going with Kam Jones?
I wanted to. I'm glad you did that. I like that he came on here. Seems like a really good dude too. But I'm going to go with Matt Painter and Shaka Smart. Not going with the portal, saying, you know what, we'll build culture. We'll continue to do what college basketball is all about. So I respect that. I'm going to toast to him for it.
Yeah, I'll toast to him. I'll add in there having the intestinal fortitude to be able to go out and play true road games on campuses in early November against elite competition. It's great for the game. This was a great it was something that kind of cut through the noise tonight, right? And we saw it on Friday night when Alabama played at Purdue, and we saw it with your boys, Tyler, when they went on the road to go play at Fog Allen Fieldhouse. And we need more of that in college basketball. We need more of these big-time major programs playing each other in their buildings because the environment is what makes college basketball special. I'm just going to throw out there RJ Green. I'm going to toast him from Wagner. Hit a buzzer beater, hit a game winner as the Seahawks knocked off Boston University on the road tonight. So shout out to RJ Green, shout out Matt Painter and Shaka Smart, and toast of the night, Mr. Triple Double himself. I don't think we can't even call him our fashion correspondent anymore, Jerel. He's now our Triple Double correspondent, Kam Jones. For Tyler Hansbrough, for Jerel McNeal, for our production staff, Dagan Hughes and Trevor Valise, who make everything work behind the scenes. My name is Rob Dauster. We'll be back again tomorrow night with more Field of 68 after dark.